go.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm just gonna yo-yo during the podcast. You guys can talk.
Are we? Oh, we're going.
Yeah, we're live.
All
We're
right.
live, boys.
Harold.
Juicy Kurti back.
Juicy Kurti's got orange juice.
You're really
this week.
embracing this personality choice.
You texted
Maybe a little
me
too
on
much.
the way over, dude. You texted me like, I'll be over in like an hour. I just gotta stop and get a jug of juice. What did you say? A
punch carton.
A punch carton. That's what you said. I was like, you gotta have the juice,
punch
bro.
carton. It's quite the vape flavor.
OJ's classic, man. That's a lot of OJ though.
I feel like it's definitely from concentrate, though. No,
100% pure premium, not from concentrate.
really,
you-
that's what it says.
Yeah.
Have you guys had fresh squeezed in like recently?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
straight up?
Oh, not
so-
straight up. Not
No, like where they squeeze it like at the place. You know what I mean?
no.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's a next
Where do
level.
you get that at?
There's
I
an
usually
Amish
get it at
market
the
by me.
beach. Yeah,
Oh,
they
at the
have a-
beach.
So good, yeah.
What is that, like $11?
It's not cheap, but I get it when I'm down in Cape May in New
Okay.
Jersey, and there's this one little diner that they have like the machine that they just pour buckets of oranges in and it like juices it for you.
Yeah.
But holy shit, that it's so good, dude. It's
What
like
do they use the waste pulp for?
I don't know what
anything,
they
or
would do with the pulp. I guess not. Maybe
I'm-
you can like make baked goods with it or something.
I'm sure those
I don't know.
juicers do a good job at getting all of the juice out, but
Mhm.
there's a Whole Foods makes like a really good orange juice that just like tastes otherworldly. It tastes like there's tangerine in it too, but like it's just pure orange. When I read the ingredients, I was like, "There's got to be other
That's
forms
probably.
of citrus." in
I'll
there.
bet Whole Foods does squeeze it there, so that's like what I'm talking about.
It comes like prepackaged in a carton, but like
Yeah, but they might still, you know what I mean? They might still like do it in the back and then package it up.
Maybe,
or do you
I don't
think
know.
it's like?
I think it comes from somewhere like one of
okay.
their distributors.
Gotcha.
That do it.
Because they make some stuff at Whole Foods.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna get some tangerine juice next time. It sounds great.
yeah. Tangerine juice is great.
Yeah, it's like a little sweeter, and like not as acidic.
Yeah. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Goods on
Of the
Jake's
juice.
Couch. The Juice Goods.
It's Wednesday.
We should have a juice tasting one time.
I'm down, dude.
It's an expense. It's funny how
It's
like,
expensive as hell.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
For like the nice juice, like we could go over to Wegmans and get like they got everything.
Oh,
they got
man.
tangerine. They got.
Wegmans is probably my favorite grocery store,
Oh, it's so nice.
and it's nice that all the employees get a little bit of the store, or whatever. They're all
Yeah,
partners, technically.
My buddy growing up, worked there through high school, and they paid for like almost all of his 4 years of college
Whoa.
because he worked there for a long ass, like
Yeah.
all through high school, and then all through college he worked there part time. But yeah, they paid like a huge chunk of his tuition.
That's
It was wild.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if they still do that. This was like 10, 15 years
Oh,
ago.
it's all good. Yeah. You know what I've noticed recently is like literally every business is offering the ability to round up your purchase to like go to some kind of charity,
Yeah,
which
That
I
shit
feel like
I-
definitely goes toward their tax bill at the end of
It
the day. It's like
does,
it's a
yeah.
write off for them, you know?
100%.
But it's just so funny because like it used to only be at like the Goodwill.
Mhm.
Like Goodwill, Salvation Army, they'll ask you if you want to round up, and it's like sometimes if it's like a penny or whatever, maybe, but if
Or it
it's,
would
like-
be like an event based thing, like at a grocery store, like, okay, it's breast cancer month. So for a month they would do it. But now it's literally like every day,
It's
no matter
everywhere.
what. Yeah.
like Wawa does it
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, like Royal Farm, everywhere that I've gone
Yep,
to in the
Weiss
last 2
does-
weeks.
Yeah.
There's like an additional screen on the interface
That you
where I'm
have to
just like,
punch through. Yeah.
yeah,
it's-
and I'm like so used to just doing shit that like when that pops up, you're like, what the fuck? What is going on? Oh gosh, like
No, they're
it's terrible. I
they're
mean,
not
charity's
doing-
good, but
right. They're not doing it for the right reasons.
yeah, it's
though.
not out of the
There's
kindness
no
of
way.
their heart, right? What's your least favorite charity, Kurti? No, I'm just kidding. What's your least underprivileged group to donate to?
I don't know enough charities.
What's your
honestly.
favorite
I don't know.
cancer?
Your favorite cancer? Jesus Christ.
If you had to have one.
We don't have any topics on the board today. We have some phone calls. You want to play those, I
Oh,
guess?
yeah. No, let's do some phone calls. You can also text this number.
Oh, yeah, you can
we
also
learned
text
today.
us if you would like, if you don't like your voice, if you're a fraidy cat and you don't want to call us.
Yep.
If you're a millennial and you're, or not a millennial, Gen
And you get
Z,
phone
what is
phone
it?
anxiety. or like menu anxiety. What is it? There's like articles about like ordering anxiety. Where
I definitely had that when I was like a kid.
When I was
like
little,
8 or 9.
I
yeah.
did not like having like when you're with your parents out to eat and it like comes around to you and I'm like, what am I gonna like? I would get stage fright.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah,
Just standing there staring at the guy.
you become an adult and you figure that shit out.
Oh my gosh!
You order the tuna melt. You know what I mean? Every time, everywhere you go. It's a tuna melt, please. Let's
Sir,
see.
This is Wendy's.
So we'll start with the text we got.
Oh, we got a text. I didn't even know we got.
Yeah, we got a text from Alvin. Good old Alvin Simon.
And
I
just
assume it
14 eggplant emojis. Jesus Christ!
says Alvin S. So it's got to be. I don't think there's any other yo-yo Alvin, is there? Alvin.
I don't know. I've never heard of another Alvin. Never even met another Alvin in real life other than Alvin Simon.
It's an interesting name, yeah.
It's a
Now
good
that I think
name.
about it. Alvin and the
I was
Chipmunks.
gonna
I'm
say,
sure he gets
named
that.
after a chipmunk, bro.
I'm sure he gets that all the time. Every single day. I used to get Sandra Bullock all the time, like any relation to Sandra. But now I don't because she's like not famous anymore.
Yeah.
But like in the late 90s, early 2000s, everywhere that like saw my last name, someone would comment about Sandra Bullock. It's
That's
like,
so wild.
yeah, it was really weird. I'm
What a
glad that doesn't
crazy
happen.
thing to ask someone.
I know. And they're like joking, you know what I mean? But and then now all I get, although this has been slowing down, thank God too, is Jake from State Farm. Yeah, and it's like, dude, do you realize
What
how
the
many
fuck?
people are named Jake?
Yeah,
like, you're not
exactly.
even.
Are you gonna
like,
do
it's-
that to every Jake you ever meet, or?
And it's a fucking insurance commercial. Like,
Right.
I just never knew that commercial was so popular until like, literally, that's happened to me hundreds of times.
I didn't even know that the new Jake was black.
Is he?
Yeah, until like very recently, because I haven't had cable since like 2010 or some shit. You know, I don't even think I had cable in 2010. I think literally since I moved out of my parents' house, like I've never.
Maybe
had,
that's why it stopped then, because
Never
now
had
Jake's
cable.
black.
and like I never see those commercials. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Occasionally you'll get a Jake from State Farm commercial on YouTube or whatever. but-
Right. Not me. I'm YouTube Premium now, baby.
How much is that? It's like $10.
It's
a
way
month.
too much. But I did it, and now I don't know how I'm ever gonna go back. It's very
I've like
nice.
been over girls' houses before when they pull up their computer for us to watch YouTube and they have YouTube Premium. I'm like, who are you? Like, why
Yeah.
do you have this? Like,
Yeah,
in what
I
world
think
do
it's
you
called
live in?
YouTube Premium. It's just the ad free. I don't have like the movies and like all that shit.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
have no ads because the ads are pretty fucking crazy. If you watch a lot of YouTube, it's
They
like
are,
it's a
and I get
fair amount of time.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was just gonna say. I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
saving? Fucking 10 seconds of videos you can skip after 5 seconds.
I watch and I listen to YouTube like all day at work,
Mhm.
so I'm probably cutting out like 40 minutes of ads at work. You know,
I mean, it's worth it. It's a write off. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like I don't know. Anyway,
all right. Alvin asks, "Do you miss the novelty of having to mod your own yo-yos? I feel like now every yo-yo is so good stock." Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about modding and how I miss it in a nostalgic sense, but I don't miss actually having to do it.
have you ever modded a yo-yo, Michael? Have you ever had to silicone a yo-yo?
Yeah, when I first started, it was like you still had the silicone yo-yos.
Like Hitman's and shit. You personally would do it though sometimes? Or-
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I remember like going and getting the tube and like was it like the red silicone was always way better, and I would line all my yo-yos up and
I would line
It
all
was-
my yo-yos up.
yeah, it was like a whole day. You know, it was an event.
And then you
It
can't
was
play with
exciting.
them. That's the other thing is when you're a kid or like, you know, I feel like people have always had a lot of yo-yos, but especially if you're just first starting out, you only have like a handful of yo-yos and you have to re-silicone a bunch of them, then it's such a pain in the dick. Like,
When I first saw the Yo-Yo Factory pads, I was like, "This is it. The future is here." Like, I was like so excited about it.
when did you start yo-yoing again? I guess you went to New York 2008, 2009.
Yeah, it was 2008 pretty much.
Okay,
I started. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You went to the New York contest in 2008?
that was 2009, the International Yo-Yo Open, like the last year.
The last one. I didn't go to that one. I was at 07 and 08, so I was going to say if I was at that contest, where one of your first contests, that would be cool, but
That would be wild. Yeah,
it wasn't.
I remember.
I went
like,
to that contest, yeah.
in 09.
No, 08.
Okay,
You went in 09?
That would have been sick too if you were there. But yeah, I was 09 and
Oh, okay.
it was like Dan Dietz and like Joseph Harris was there.
Yeah. That was where
That's
the
cool.
famous Dan Dietz debacle happened.
Really? What?
He like started his freestyle and he did like a trick and he got like 6 or 7 string hits in, like a considerable amount of the way through the trick. It was like he was in his freestyle. And then he did like a drop suicide green triangle, missed it, it got a knot. And then he like turned around and like told the DJ to stop and he's like, I need like a redo. I didn't hear the music come on, like it messed up the beginning of my freestyle. And then Pat was like, all right, yeah, sure, like whatever, because it was Dan Dietz, like he's not like really in the running to win at the time or whatever. And so they let him go again. The same thing happened again. And I wasn't there. John Robb like called me that day and told me about it because it was just so funny and like egregious of a move to pull. And like it happened again. And I think he said the same thing, or like, oh, the DJ started it late. Like he played it like a second too late because like it was like a club DJ that Pat would hire, whoever. So they would like fade in the music or something like that.
Right.
And a lot of people would submit like downloaded songs or whatever. And then but the same thing happened. He literally got a knot in the same exact place, like the drop suicide green triangle, missed it. And then I swear like it happened a third time, but Pat was like making a joke. He's like, all right, do you want me to like go get you a macchiato? Like, are you good? You need some coffee? You want to take a smoke break? Like, no, you good? All right, cool. Like Dan Dietz. And he did literally the same thing again, I feel like, or if not, it was just like he still didn't do like a great job because it was outdoors. But it was like, holy shit.
Is this on YouTube?
I don't think so.
Damn.
And it was, just before everyone had smartphones kind of thing. So,
And I feel like it's basically pre-music cues, so who the fuck cares? Like, music didn't even matter back then, did it? Or maybe it was starting to matter in
I mean,
09?
not really. Like, yeah.
No, I feel like it probably didn't matter much.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just such a Dietz thing to do. Like, wait a minute. Like, I had the trapeze planned there. Like, right,
trapeze planned there. It's worth
yeah.
multiple points, bro. I mean, when you had to mod yo-yos, you did have like a weirdly intimate isn't the right word, but it made you feel more connected to your yo-yo in a way, I
For
guess
sure.
you would say. Like,
Yeah.
I know I definitely would like sit there and like even just sitting on the couch like staring at every square inch of my yo-yo,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Man, I wish I had that kind of connection with the bless you. They all mean nothing to me now.
yeah, dude, that happens after a while.
They're just like disposable. Like, I give away my yo-yos a lot, like, or I would, like, at bars and stuff when people showed interest. I was like, give them a dunk. I know they would never get it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
dog.
Well, it doesn't. I like. Who cares if they want?
Yeah, it's
it?
like buying someone a drink, so it's
Yeah.
not the worst expense in the world, but still, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't have a yo-yo that I love that much anymore. Like
Yeah.
a single one. I love like models of yo-yo or
Even
whatever.
when I was on Yo-Yo Factory for a long time, I was like very, like, observant of just all my yo-yos and looking at them really close and looking at, especially like once the cool finishes and stuff started coming out, all the
Yeah.
multiple color anodized and shit like that. It was just like, wow, like, it looks so cool. It's like having a painting or something, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And studying every single inch of it, but.
Was there a point in time where people would like compete with only modded yo-yos? Like,
I
Or
mean,
that
you had
was-
to, kind of. Like, if you competed with, like, Duncan's or something before metal yo-yos kind of came to
so that was like
become the regular.
that was like 2002, 2003, like before like those like response became like more normalized.
Yeah, like...
I mean, 2003, 4, like everyone competed with yo-yo jams. I feel like I'm
Right,
trying to
yeah.
think of anyone who didn't, and there really wasn't. So, yo-yo jams you had to mod in the sense that they came with lube bearings, so you had to clean the bearing.
Okay.
What was the first yo-yo that was
And-
silicone? Do you remember?
It was the
Was it an Oxy?
the
Oxy
peak,
4?
the painted peak was hand siliconed. The Oxy,
I swear the Oxy 4 came with silicone
yeah,
pads.
I think it
'cause
did.
there was like a random yo-yo from like Saudi Arabia or Dubai or something, and he was the first Abo Dani or whatever his name was
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the yo forum. He was the first guy that like I ever read a silicone tutorial from and tried to learn.
Wow. Yeah,
And I think
don't
he was like a big
remember.
Oxy collector, and he was like, "Oh, like we're gonna recreate this style of
That's really
response on other
interesting.
yo-yos."
I wonder if it is the Oxy 4.
Yeah, and then before
Might
that,
be.
Like recessed Duncan pads were really popular, and Duncan yo-yos, which work really well. Like, but I don't know. For some reason, they'd still wear out kind of quick, even in a recessed pad thing. And then, yeah.
If you were on Team Omega, you definitely used modded yo-yos.
Yeah, you
like
had
Mark
to,
Mott
yeah.
used the crazy hyper warp heavy wing with coral like rubber rings. It was basically a big throw monkey. It was kind of a wild.
Can't
yo-yo.
believe you used that for
Dang.
so long.
Yeah, like for a long time, and then he got on Buzzon, used the Deviate, but and Justin Weber was on the Omega and used like a hyper warp heavy wing. I don't know what he did to his. He just like made the gap bigger and put pads over the starburst or something like that.
Okay.
So people definitely competed with modded, like, or at least, at the very least, you were using a yo-yo jam that you like put shims in and a concave bearing and like, you know, souped it up a little bit because
Yeah.
stock yo-yo jams were hard, like pretty awful.
They
I
were
mean,
bad.
They were
yeah.
meant to be like responsive and like
Even like with a cleaned
Okay.
bearing, those old black O-rings are just so bad.
yeah,
like,
you kind of had to break those in, or like they made red silicone O-rings you could replace them with.
I feel
for
like
a
those
while.
didn't come out till like 2006.
They were a little later, yeah.
And like right around when that happened, it's like they were like whatever $3 or $4 a set, and it's like, why would I buy these when I could just buy a whole tube of silicone for like $5-6 and do 200 yo-yos with it or whatever?
Interestingly, although I'm not up and up on 2A anymore or ever, but they might be the only like modders left. Like I assume some people still use like cranked raiders, like modded raiders. and
Honestly,
stuff,
I mean,
but probably
maybe,
not
but
many.
like, not many. Yeah,
Yeah,
'Cause a lot
people-
of those Yo-Yo Factory yo-yos are just a raider with better
Yeah,
response systems.
a lot of people use the Duncan loopers too. I think like the world champion does. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he
uses, like,
won
Hornets
2A.
or whatever.
Hornets. Jesus
I think
Christ.
he's won more than once. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's literally a ballistic. 2A is kind of very weird though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, and Duncan's one of the few companies that will actually pay for someone's ticket to go somewhere. So it's kind of like,
Barrel just knocked the camera. That's why it just shook.
so I could see maybe that's why he's yo-yoing for them. Not to say that the yo-yos are that bad, but they're not great. You know what I mean? It's just a ballistic with freehand zero caps in it.
Yeah.
It's like he knows that, like,
Bear, come here. You fucking asshole. Here, I'll check and make sure it's
just pushes it over.
We're still in frame here. Stop. I have to lock you up again. Get out of here. Go away. Jesus.
Hit his head on the tripod. Jesus Christ.
Buddy.
Poor guy. I wish I could pet him so bad.
I don't know why he's like this one. I don't know.
Andre's cat used to be the same way till they let him.
Yeah, you were saying you let him
Parole it.
outside.
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself. I was telling you.
Oh,
but
dude,
I'll
I
tell
wouldn't
the
either.
audience,
It's
like,
insane.
I don't live like on a busy road, but it's busy enough.
It's busy enough.
And then I'm close to a busy road, and then like there's coyotes out here and fucking
yeah.
really crazy raccoons that attack my bird feeders at night, and they fight each other, dude. Like they will just wrestle and like they make this screeching noise. Like raccoons are kind of scary, dude, when they're big.
Yeah.
Like they will fuck you up.
Have you ever seen that video
Badgers.
of the, like, a girl's coming home from school and she's going to unlock her front door? She's got to be like 7, 8 years old. And like a rabid raccoon just comes out of like nowhere and like
No.
latches onto
Oh
her
my
leg.
god, is that real? I gotta
Yeah,
watch that.
they can't get rabies though. I was
Jeez.
reading about this.
They can't?
Like, no, apparently
Oh, wow.
raccoons can't get rabies, or maybe it's possums can't get rabies.
Yeah.
Possums,
I think raccoons definitely can.
yeah, but like the little girl like is like she doesn't like move. Doesn't, I mean, she's 8 or whatever. So what do you
Yeah.
really expect her to do? Then like the mom comes outside and is like rips the raccoon. She goes into like superhero mom mode
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
throws the kid in the house and just like has the raccoon by like the scruff of its neck and then is yelling at the neighbor like, "Put the dogs in! There's a rabid raccoon!" And then she just like chucks it across the yard.
Wow.
Runs inside. It's pretty fucking crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Another trigger warning animal story. In my neighborhood, there's like a dog groomer or something, but I guess a bunch of people complained about it after this got posted, where like they don't have like a fence around their like dog area or something like that. Like they just let them run out in the yard and then they expect them to come back or whatever. I don't know exactly what their setup is, but a dog got out last week and then got hit by a car. Like imagine dropping your dog off at the dog groomers and then it's just like, oh, sorry, I got hit by a car. Like our bad.
That's crazy.
It's awful.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Let's all talk about the saddest pets we've lost over the
man.
years. No.
I have a great story about that. But
Do you really?
yeah. When I was a kid, my best friend, or one of my best friends, was my neighbor. And his mom was like an alcoholic, and she was driving back one night from picking like one of her other kids up from a friend's house and was drunk and like hit our dog and killed it.
Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And it was like
How
Memorial,
did they tell you? Yeah.
like Memorial Day weekend or whatever. I mean, I wasn't there when it happened. That's what I was gonna say. I was over at a friend's house. And then my mom, of course, didn't like tell me till like the next day when we get home, and like the dog is just laying there on the floor, like, oh, we guess we're gonna have to take it to the vet. And it's like, what the? Why didn't you take it last night? Like, it's kind of
Damn.
insane to think about. Like, yeah. Anyway.
My fucked up pet story
It's
from
wild.
childhood was
Yeah.
I had my mom. My parents had just gotten divorced, so my mom had like a new apartment, and she got us this like thing with hamsters, 2 hamsters in
Okay.
it for the new apartment. You know, like something to do. I'm a little ass kid. I was 6, 7. So there's these hamsters, and it was a glass enclosure. Just an important detail. So they weren't like the little, the like fluffy yellow hamsters. They were kind of like, they were like gray. Like they were closer to mice. Like I don't know what kind of hamster they were, but they were cute. And we got 2 of them. And then it was like, oh, surprise. A couple weeks go by. Like they must be a boy and a girl. Cause look, the one had babies. So like it
Whoa.
had these cute little pink babies. And it was like nighttime, and we were like looking at them, and it had, you know, the mom had made like a little nest.
So
and
you
they
learned about fucking N?
Yeah, they were all in there,
Hamster.
all in there squeaking, and like their eyes weren't even open yet. And I was like, oh, this is so cool, you know? And so I went to bed. I'm like so excited to wake up the next morning and check on the babies. And I wake up really early, and I go over before my mom's even up.
Yeah.
And there's just the glass enclosure is just blood smeared
Oh my
Oh
god.
on
my
the
I was
glass.
waiting
The
for
dad
this, yeah.
hamster had just didn't eat them, just like tore them to pieces.
Jesus
All
Christ.
like all of them. We didn't know. Like you're supposed to take apparently with
There's
this
like a
type of
nature to this.
yeah, like you're supposed to take the dad. You know, we weren't trying to breed hamsters. It just happened. Like so, like yeah, we just,
Hamster gladiator.
you know,
right?
it was more or less like pre-internet. So like we couldn't just like look up like what do
Yeah.
you do when this hamster has baby? Like we didn't know. But yeah, they didn't even make it through the night. It was-
God, that is really sad. Holy crap.
that shit was pretty fucked up. But
Are they? I feel like that happens with a lot of different animals, though, where like if
Yeah.
they don't get separated, they eat each
yeah,
other.
when I
or
was
some
breeding
shit.
these epistogramma fish, you have to take the dad out, or he'll just eat all the babies.
Jesus.
Usually, the mom with fish, both parents will usually just eat the babies immediately. It's kind of wild because it's like what in nature, like it seems backwards. Like you would they live to reproduce, so like why are they immediately eating their kids?
Yeah.
But the reason I think with fish is they just have so many babies all the time.
Mhm.
And also in nature, they'll be in a stream or a river. So like the babies will go wash away or get lost and then they'll grow up. But when they're all in a little tank together, the parents will just eat all of them. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my god.
Do you know if there's like a survival reason, like for like you know
Like I
their
said-
offspring, or are they actually just trying to eat? And, like,
They are just like hungry, and I think they just don't really have the brain capacity to be like, oh, this is mine. At a
okay,
certain
yeah.
point, like at first, and this varies fish to fish. Like the one I was talking about, the mom actually will raise them, which is super rare, but the dad will eat them. So you just have to remove the dad. But it's really fun to watch him like follow the mom around and like she teaches him stuff. And
Mhm.
but that's rare. Usually they'll just mom and dad will eat them, and it's just like
Oh
they
my
don't
God.
understand like. Maybe the first day it's like that's mine, but then after a couple days they're like, what is this little annoying fish in here? Like I'm gonna eat, you know what I mean? It must be food. Like
Oh yeah, don't they have like a really short-term memory or something?
something
that?
like it's something with just their brain doesn't like process that it's their baby, you know? It's
doesn't
just a
that-
small fish.
Can't like cannibalistic tendencies cause disease or something like that?
I don't know. I
like
think
I've
in
read that.
mammals, yeah. I think it's bad for your brain. Like human tribes that eat human.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been studies that prove like it can negatively affect like your brain in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might just be a mammal thing. I don't know if it. Fish has like inbreeding issues, but not like I don't think eating the same species of fish like fucks with them. They'll eat any. In general, fish will eat any fish that's smaller than them.
That's
like,
how they mess their brains up. The inbreeding. The
they don't really
Virginia
have
fish.
much. Fish are closer to bugs than anything else, like brain wise. Like they
Oh, yeah.
really don't have too much going on in there. But
Fish is bugs.
fish is bugs,
Um.
shrimps.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to modding yo-yos. Like, I definitely modded freehands on a Dremel before I got a lathe, and then by the time I got a lathe, I was already like on to bigger and better things. So like, I wasn't playing with freehands anymore. But
He asked if we miss it. I don't miss it, but I miss like the artistic aspect.
Yeah.
Of it. Like the mod competition was really cool at Worlds.
there's
and,
only
like,
so many factors of a yo-yo that you can put into tuning it and kind of making it your own and figuring out how it plays. Especially now, it's like perfectly machined and like.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, a fucking trick killing machine versus like a guitar. There's so many different variables on a guitar that you can change. And
yeah.
like even the strings on a guitar, like strings on a yo-yo, there's only like, unless you have a nylon string, like yes, cotton doesn't play as well as polyester and they all have different variances that affect it, but it's not as crucial as like a guitar where like different strings probably have different tones and make it sound totally different and get picked up on the pickups differently. Like it's just, I don't know. And like we talked about a few episodes ago with when Infinite Illusions carried like 100 different pads, you know what I mean? That was one huge thing back in the day, was just like the customizability of a yo-yo and being able to set it up exactly how you wanted to, even though it's like a fleeting request, because like as soon as you play with your yo-yo for 25-30 minutes, it's gonna play different. Like
There was definitely something to be said for like getting a freehand set up really nice and the
Mhm.
pads broken into the perfect point. Like there was some pride in like, yeah, my freehand's nice as fuck. Like, and then you try someone else's and like theirs is better or worse, or like you don't like it, but they like it for this reason. Like that whole variability between yo-yos definitely doesn't exist anymore.
yeah,
Which I kind of miss. Like it was interesting.
it did create like a camaraderie amongst you and other yo-yoers. You could talk about like how it's set up. Try this one. It's set up this way. Like,
Yeah.
especially when you had like whatever, a dozen different freehands, it was like cool to be like, oh, I want to play with the one that has a recessed pad, and I'm gonna play with this one, and this one's silicone recessed, and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Like it was, I don't know. I don't miss it either though, because it's way easier now. But I think that's another reason why. I don't know. Do you think? I guess the skill level of yo-yoers is pretty much the same now in terms of like people who are getting involved in the community. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like back in the day, people definitely used to dedicate more time to getting better, just because it took so much work to like figure out all the ins and outs to make your yo-yo work trick wise and setup wise, versus now it's just like you buy it, it's good.
Right. You can skip that whole portion of the learning process,
Right.
you're saying. Yeah,
I think
that's
that
definitely
definitely affects how long some people play yo-yo for, because if you've dedicated all that time to learning and you've like, you know, developed a relationship with your yo-yo on a different level, then that's going to keep you more invested for a longer period of time, versus just like, oh, I bought this nondescript hunk of metal and like all I got to do is change the pads every 3 or 4 months, if that. Like,
Yeah.
how often have you guys ever changed a silicone pad? So rare, right?
Super rare.
What were you saying though, Jake, about silicone pads?
I've
just
never
from play? You've
changed them for like, oh, I've been playing, I wore them through. Like I've never worn out a set of pads that I know of, but I have. The few times I've done it is when I get like a new yo-yo that fucking plays weird for some
Oh, yeah.
reason. I've swapped it out like a couple times. Like
I can't even, like, when I think maybe like less than 10 sets ever, like in the history of, and it was like when I was
Yeah.
playing crazy hardcore, you know what I mean? Because it's, when you have a grooved bearing, it's pushing the string away from them, so it's not like with a flat bearing, it's a lot of the
Yeah.
time like hitting one of the walls. So like,
Unless you're doing gyroflops all day, every day. I don't know how you wear through them, man.
That's why Andre started Yo-Yo Expert. He needed to get these goddamn silicone pads. He was sick of just running through them doing gyroflops all day. But yeah, you have to be playing so hard, and then also, like, when bearing seats are completely flush with the bearing, like I'm sure you've noticed how like the first part of the pad to get worn away is like right near where the bearing seat is,
Right.
but like with the 19mm pad, it's like pushed far enough away that it's not really coming into contact with anything, you know. So yeah, I don't miss modding yo-yos because it definitely, that was a whole nother like level of being a nerd with your yo-yo, which like was good in some ways, bad in others, but like that would straight up be like a portion of your week yo-yoing would be like maintenance and upkeep on your yo-yos, you know what I mean? Or like imagine going to like every contest and you're like, oh, I gotta bring a 36 pack of friction stickers with me just in case, or I gotta bring this or I gotta bring that. It was kind of weird when that stopped happening because it like kind of took away some of the magic from it of like, I don't know, it felt like cheating almost, just like, oh, my yo-yo's not responding well, I just gotta throw in a new set of silicone pads. Like it, I don't know.
Yeah, that was the worst when like I would be playing with my Babezilla and it would be playing just perfect, and then like you bind shitty or it's too hot one day and the pad, like the Kintaro pad or diff pad just like rips and just like shreds, you know? And
yeah,
you're
I
like,
definitely did that with a few.
Yeah, it just
before.
would eventually just die, and then it's like I gotta put a brand new diff pad in here, which is it's just gonna play like shit for like a couple days, like until it's broken in again.
I could never get diff pads to play well.
I feel like my thing, I'll have to look. I have my Bapes still set up, but I'm pretty sure I was using like one thin diff pad and one Kintaro pad by the end.
That sounds like an insane setup.
The diff pad would be like so broken in.
Yeah.
So it was just like smooth rubber. And then the Kintaro pad was all the grip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I feel like diff pads are like foam.
Yeah.
Like they're like a springy kind of
Yeah,
foam.
they're like just very smooth. Like there's not much texture to them once they're broken in. But like Antio just didn't play well with like just one pad. Like you needed to. So the diff pad almost did nothing, and then the Kintaro pad did all the work.
Yeah. Do you remember what your favorite pad was, Kurti?
I don't know. I mean, when I started, it was like pretty much like it was 2008, so silicone pads were popular like a year or two after.
What were like your first couple yo-yos, Kurti?
I remember like Chaz pads were a thing when I started.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
like,
used those in my Anteos too.
Those
were the best. Honestly.
Baz pads and Chaz pads. Yeah. Yeah, I used those. That's what I
didn't even know till like a decade later that Chuck made them. And then when I found that out, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Did you know he made them before you went and stayed over his house, or?
It was like when we were at his house. Yeah,
that's so funny. We're like there. You're like, what are all these fucking sheets of silicone?
It's like that was you.
Did you know? Like, did you know about Baz pads?
No,
because that was like that's why he called them Chaz pads. There was this guy Basil, I guess his name was.
I think I maybe did meet him one time.
But he was the guy who like invented that method of making pads. So he made these red pads called Baz pads that they came with the Eats It, and I think the Babezilla came with them too, like stock. And then he just stopped making them or quit yo-yoing or something happened to him. So Charles like took over.
That's wild.
Took the mantle, but he called them Chaz
I think
pads.
I remember like just that was like right when I was starting, but I think I remember seeing red pads. But yeah, I don't know. I think like my first couple, like I was doing like it was like Project One, and like I put Chaz pads in it.
I think those came with Kintaro pad stock, if I remember. Or no, maybe it was like a clear silicone pad. I forget. Because they had like a nice recess in those yo-yos, so it may have been just a clear silicone pad.
Yeah, Bergie, I remember came up to me and was like, "Put these Chaz pads in," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, so that's good.
Awesome.
Take these, put these in, you'll be so much better, bro."
Charles definitely perfected that style of pad.
Yeah, I wish I remembered the lineage of how because I think he like definitely got permission from that Chaz dudes or Baz somehow to do it, but I want to say it was like either Basil like didn't want to do it anymore because he was like, this is like way too much work,
I
or
think
like
that was
maybe he
it.
like quit yo-yoing or
I
something.
think he
don't
just it was too much work.
know. Yeah.
He was an adult, like,
Right. Yeah.
and like literally after Antio started including him, like they were fucking popular. He was selling hundreds, I'm sure, and like yo-yo companies were like literally buying them and shit. So
Kentaro used to hand cut Kentaro pads too.
it's fucking
He had
crazy.
like a crazy like little circular cutter thing that he would bring to places and like cut them out. Like if we had any
God damn.
downtime, he would just like pop open a case and start cutting Kentaro pads. It's like, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, when they're cut by a machine, it's like not as good of an edge, and like they like are offset sometimes. That's like that sounds
Wow.
like the manufacturer problem, not a you problem. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know. That's wild to me. Yeah, Chaz pads were the shit. I don't wish, I take that back. I was gonna say I wish that yo-yo pads were still that, big of a deal,
I
but
fucking hate pads, but I hope. Yeah,
yeah, I agree.
we're gonna talk about some pads. We'll be having pad talk off pod for sure.
pad talk off pod.
3 desert island yo-yos. Alvin's second question. It's a tough
Ooh,
one.
Yeah, that is a
Ooh.
tough one. For me, it'd be like a freehand variation. Any of them really. Freehand 1, freehand 0, hyper freehand. If I had to pick one, probably hyper freehand. Just because it feels a little more solid because it has a sonic welded cap.
Just a
and-
stock hyper freehand though.
No, like a silicone recess.
Silicone?
Hyper freehand. I have like a whole set of hyper freehands plus a couple extra ones, and like I really need to like either I don't know, I shouldn't play with them that much because like the cap art will wear off eventually,
Yeah.
and like the but I would love to like just silicone recess them so I could actually play with them.
If you do, let me know. I have a black one that I'd love for you to do that because I want to play with it too. But stock, it's rough.
Yeah, maybe I'll keep like one set of them regular.
Yeah, do that.
What else? Maybe Supernova. I don't know. It's hard to. That's such a hard
It's so
question
hard.
because like even
If I had a yo-yo at all, I'd be stoked. I'd be like,
yeah, right.
this is great.
On a
okay.
desert
On
island.
a desert
yeah, bro.
island, yeah.
If I honestly though, if I had to pick, I'd probably say drop near, because it's just such like a versatile, stable yo-yo.
Yeah.
But
You're
yeah,
not wrong.
I'd be stoked on.
I would just take any
Anything.
yo-yo and then replace the other 2 yo-yos with some bearings because you're gonna get sand in your bearing on the island. And like imagine that would be worse than anything. You have one yo-yo, you're stuck on an island, and then the bearing just shits the bed.
Oh
And you're
yeah.
just like, yeah. It's like what the fuck, all that saltwater air and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so I'd rather have extra bearings.
Did you
honestly,
ever yo-yo at the beach when you were a
and
kid?
string? I'm sure I didn't really go to the beach
It's
until
just
I was an
impossible
adult.
not to get sand in your bearing. Like
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah, beach is a kendama place. You want to be really cool.
No wonder all the kendama players are more attractive than us. They're just
Yeah.
hanging out at the beach all day. Soccer field, beach, winter sports.
Yeah, freehand's a good answer. I mean, that's a fun yo-yo.
Yeah,
I
maybe
want to say like my own yo-yos, but I like playing with like slapper or dunk or something.
yeah. I'd want like a variety. Like I'd want like that's kind of I don't know, like
Yeah.
a plastic, like a nice metal, and then maybe like something slimline or
A 3-in-1 Tom Coon or
yeah,
maybe some kind of fixed axle.
Maybe some two-way yo-yos.
What? Why?
Because if you get sand in
other-
the bearing, then like at least they're
It'll
responsive.
play even better,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Though I mean, also two-way is fun.
Someone comes to save you and you're
Honest-
like, oh, you can leave me. I got these
Give me
2A
another
yo-yos. They're
10.
playing perfect right now. Just leave me here. I got the perfect amount of sand. What were you saying, Jake?
I hope the island's not too hot because your hands will get all sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd want a 2A would be better because like I can't do 1A if it's too hot out.
Yeah, it's yeah, I remember when polyester string became a thing, and that was just like a lifesaver because like no one really yo-yos outdoors anyway, but like that made it just a little more tolerable, you know what I mean? Or even during the summertime, whenever it was for sure like just a little. It's for a way nicer yo-yoing with polyester string than slick six or cotton. Like
Remember when poly string didn't really exist yet except for Brazilian poly?
Yeah,
was weird.
that was like the year before I went to Worlds, but that was kind of like through the grapevine. I was like finding that out because like people would have like strings, and then...
I got one, I think, from Raphael or someone at Worlds, and it was like my one Brazilian string.
One singular string.
Yeah, just one. Like they weren't like they didn't have them in
Plentiful,
bulk. Yeah, or if they did, I didn't have access to it.
Yeah, I heard like you could buy a skein of 100, but it was like $25 or $30
Yeah,
or something.
which back
at the
then
time.
it's like 40, 50 bucks.
Yeah.
Would you guys make a yo-yo out of a coconut on the island, do you think?
Oh my gosh.
Like
The
a
real
big yo?
question. Yeah, I would love to.
I would try.
Oh my god.
I would try.
Did you guys
but-
see that?
We should just do that in general.
That yo-yo that's like vending machine packaging
Yes,
that
that
guy
was
made this
fucking
week. It was
incredible,
cool,
dude.
right?
Really, really fun.
What is it?
He 3D printed like you know how when you get things out of a vending machine when you're a kid, it comes with like the clear plastic top so you can see like what's inside of it,
Okay.
and the
yeah.
bottom's like an opaque neon color
That's like
or
the
whatever.
packaging. Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought at first. When I first started watching it, like it got posted on so many people's stories and shit, and they were all like, "This is so genius," and I was like, "What? He made cool packaging, great." But
Right.
then, like once you watch the video, it's like, "Oh my gosh, this is so smart!" Like, watch.
It's really amazing.
Dang.
So he's like, "Oh, there's just the stuff in them."
It's
but
so
then
cool.
Those are the tops.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's super sick. So
And
it's
then
like
look
all in one.
look what he does though. Just wait, it gets better.
It probably plays like shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
He pops those suckers back on.
Oh
Bro,
my
so it's
God.
like a giant doorknob yo-yo. Look at this thing.
Yo.
How many likes does it have?
Yeah, that's super cool.
I'm honestly gonna message him and I guess you can't see the likes.
Doesn't have a
But-
number underneath the heart.
Oh, no, it just plays. No number under the heart.
Really?
He must have it private. But Dale Tubot.
Yeah.
Tubot. I'm gonna message him after the show and ask to buy one of those. I just
They're
want one.
really cool.
I'm gonna message him right now. Anyway, so desert island yo-yo, just any yo-yo, I think is the answer.
Yeah, because especially when you're in those scenarios, like, have you guys ever went on vacation or something and like forgot your yo-yos or like only brought one or two, and then that becomes like not your favorite yo-yo, but you like form a new bond with that yo-yo where you're like, like this is nice. Like I didn't enjoy this as much as I did before I left, but now I really enjoy it. Like, or the worst is when you only bring like one on a trip and then you like wear out the pad in it or something, or the bearing goes to shit, and it's like, god damn it, like never happened to you, Kurti?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
You're just traumatized.
I haven't
You're like,
been
oh, man.
on vacation like that a long time.
Nah, I
but like
feel
that
you,
definitely
yeah.
happened when I was like 9.
Because when you're a kid, and your parents like, you don't need a whole case of yo-yos, like bring 2, 3, like
Right.
it's so funny, like
Yeah.
trying to explain to them like, but this could happen, that could happen, like
And then it does.
Yeah.
And then they don't get it.
and they just don't care. They're just like, who cares? You can put down the yo-yo for a week. It's like, oh my god, you're not addicted to anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. Just any yo-yo is like
Yeah,
pretty optimal in a situation like that.
I think a good spectrum of yo-yos, like I said, a plastic, a metal, something slimline, or maybe a wood yo-yo. I don't know. Wood, I feel like eventually gets kind of boring. Like I don't know how Ed does it for like a year at a time, where he's just like, "Oh, this I'm only gonna play with."
I think he just does it
non-bearing
all, but
yo-yos."
not even a year at a time. I feel like he's
No, but he'll take these random sabbaticals where like he'll
yeah?
lock up all of his bearing-ized yo-yos, give his kids like the key to like his case. And that's even
Yeah.
like a bigger tease, as you're just looking at him the whole time, and it's
an interesting mindset. That's sort of the opposite of the reason I got into yo-yoing seriously, because of ball bearings and how
right. Yeah.
because of Johnny's shiny ass Hitman in 2003.
Yeah, I'm
That's-
sure you could read Ed's 600 rules of power yo-yo to learn about it. But
Well, thanks for the questions, Alvin. We just got another text.
really,
Yeah, like just now. This is from. I'm not going to just give out your phone number on the air. I don't know who this is from, but for the pod, with 2024 U.S. Nationals shaping up to be one of the most competitive non-world contests in yo-yo history.
is it though?
I did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I disagree
It-
already, but continue. I'm sorry.
I wonder why they're saying that. I don't.
What other
I'm-
contest would be?
more competitive than that?
Like other than Worlds, yeah, non-Worlds.
No, Yuki
Japan.
Jensen BAC 2010.
I think I think he's
Yeah,
saying. Oh
You
yeah,
get my
it's
bag
true.
right now, bro.
they did say in yo-yo history. That is
Oh,
strange.
okay,
It's like,
yeah.
who's it gonna be? Justin Dower, Hunter, and like one or two other people,
Yeah,
maybe.
And I feel like Japan Nats is like just as competitive.
way
as,
more
like,
competitive.
yeah,
Way more.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go
Sorry, I
ahead.
didn't mean to come down on you, but
Shitty question.
I was wondering what past non-world contests stick out in your minds as having the most stacked competitor lists and amazing freestyles where going in it seemed like anybody could win. It's a great, nicely worded question.
Well, that rarely happens. That you're like
Where
just
anyone can
anybody
win.
could win. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's times where there's 4 or 5 really good players that are like, oh, if this guy messed up a bunch, then potentially this other person could win. Or especially when contests were outdoors, that was always like, they always used to love to say that about nationals. Anybody's game, it could blow the wind like crazy during this guy's freestyle. And
Yeah. Stacked, I mean, I don't know. My memories just always go back to like Yuki Mickey rivalry was
Yeah.
cool. I don't know who else was really in the running at that point.
basically for like the last 30 years, there's always like a handful of dudes who are in the top 1%. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like from the time I started, it was like Mickey dominated for fucking 4 or 5 years, then Yuki, then
And it's kind of crazy because like until one of those people like actually win a contest, like that's the only way that they really break through the next level somehow.
yeah.
And it's very rare. It's like a big placebo effect in my opinion, because like it's very rare that person, they're obviously a very proficient and good yo-yoer, but it's rare that they get that much better because they won that one time. It's just like once you win that one time, then judges are kind of like, oh, like this guy could win again, we got to pay really close attention. Or like it's almost like their score gets bumped up a little bit because not like literally, it's not like anyone behind the scenes is like, oh, kick his score out 5 points, but it's just, you know, instantly that person becomes like a flavor of yo-yoer and then they score them higher. Like Mark Zuno, I feel like is a good example. That like kid with like the crazy scene hair that freestyles like hardcore music, because like he's doing really well, but like until he really wins a contest, and like some contests he goes like perfect or really close to perfect or whatever, but it's like until he really wins a contest, I think that's gonna be like the defining, you know, then he's gonna get bumped up and like constantly be top 3, top 2, whatever, instead
Right.
of just like sometimes he'll place 3rd, sometimes he'll get 7th, sometimes he'll get 5th. Like
Yeah, like when Shion won, like every year after that, people were like, "Is Shion gonna mess up?" Like that was the question. It wasn't like who's gonna win.
right, yeah, I don't know. And Shion, like no one's like, people watched it because it was like a, I don't know, it was a spectacle. It wasn't like let's see what Shion's gonna do this year. It was just kind of like, is he gonna mess up? Like exactly, it's not. I don't know.
I'd say
Yeah.
maybe you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No,
No. That's I was gonna say also like 2015. I feel like maybe I'm like not totally on point
2015
here,
Worlds.
but yeah, 2015 Worlds. Like
Yeah, because Gentry was in the running.
yeah, and Zach won. It wasn't
Zach.
exactly like he was predicted to win. It was just like,
Yeah.
whoa, he actually just hit that.
Behind
like,
the scenes, we were all like hoping and praying and being like, God, if he goes clean, like he's got such a good chance. And yeah,
I wasn't really around, but I feel like wasn't there a period of 5A where it was like you and Miggy and Sterling and Sam Scott and John Robb, and it was like sort of like a toss up of was it going to be you, Miggy, or Sterling who would win, basically? or
yeah,
something.
yeah. For
So like
sure.
that was sort of a stacked time if you want to
Yeah,
look
good
at it.
point,
Like
yeah.
it was sort of hard to predict.
Yeah, I feel like 4A is always kind of hard to predict. I'm not like a big 4A guy, but like they seem to every few years have
Yeah.
someone come out of the woodwork and do incredibly well, and it's like, where the fuck did this guy come from?
Right.
Like, 2A by far had like the longest reign of just Shinji fucking
Yeah. that
doing
was wild.
amazing, doing the best freestyles in history probably, and then just no one was gonna beat him. Or like I think Koji did come close a couple times, but
Very close a few times, but never did it.
yeah,
So who
That's
do you-
crazy. Koji never won Worlds, huh?
no.
Oh wow,
God, that's
yeah.
fucked up.
What were you saying?
He was one of
Kurt?
my favorite players for
Really?
sure. Yeah, when I was younger, it was like so good.
The green yo-yos are better than the red yo-yos. Shinji was
Oh,
red,
what?
Koji was green. That's just all how. That's like I don't know.
That's
I never
funny.
picked up on that. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Neither.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, 5A would be a toss up a lot, and then, but yeah, 1A is normally kind of always the same group of dudes, like 4 or 5 people that could potentially win,
Right.
but
Usually no more than like 2 or 3 who are like it's gonna be one of these
Right.
guys probably.
even then, it's like, especially once regionals and other contests started to go down to 2 minutes, it's like that's like when you go to worlds or nationals and it's 3 minutes, that's like such a huge difference between doing a clean 2-minute freestyle and 3-minute freestyle. Like that really created a big variance in scores and grouping, just because like a lot of people can be good 2-minute players, but then when it comes that extra minute, then they like fall apart, or you have one mistake and then it just goes all downhill from there. So
And the more I think about it, I guess Nats is going to be pretty.
do they list any names or anything?
They didn't, but think of Justin Dower, Hunter,
Justin, Hunter.
Mark Zuno. Honestly, apparently he did. I didn't watch his freestyle from that Midwest contest, but I think he went to that and did like his
he
best
win?
freestyle yet. No, I
He
don't
got
think so.
top 3 or something.
Yeah, he did like really just went super clean or had new tricks or something. I
Mhm.
don't know, but and then Connor Seals.
Connor, I forgot about Connor because he only competes a handful of times. a
I
year
know
now.
I'm missing people. The guy from Unparalleled. Why am I blanking on his name? He's really good. He wins contests a lot. He won Chesapeake.
Nick DeValpine.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to be at Nats. I assume.
I'm sure he will be. He just graduated.
He's
college
he
too,
if he
so.
goes clean, like he could win that. Like he's really fucking good.
He's amazing. I love
Um,
his yo-yoing. I just don't know. He's like one
I
of
don't-
those examples of like someone that I don't know if I would consider a great 3-minute player, because like
yeah.
he's got
3
2 minutes on lock, and then normally that last minute he'll make like
Yeah.
one mistake that like messes up his music cues or something, and then he's like falling behind, and that gets into his head and he starts fucking up. But
Yeah, so I mean I can see what they mean by like it is kind of hard to pick a winner. I feel like
Yeah.
Justin's kind of the favorite at this point, but
yeah,
He
I
could
feel
win.
like Connor Hunter could easily come through, and
has Justin won many contests this year?
I think he won that Midwest one just recently, and I think that's the reason he's the favorite for Nats right now, because apparently that was a really crazy freestyle.
Who won the Rocky
Denver,
Mountain?
the Rocky Mountain one. Or?
Oh,
Yeah, he
Uh,
definitely just won that one.
yeah, I
Oh,
guess
did he?
that's,
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking of. I guess I meant that, not Midwest, whatever. But there were some contests in the Midwest too.
No, yeah, I remember. It's
Um,
called like the something. It's not like a
I don't
cool
even
music. I
fucking
forget
know.
the name. Yeah,
But so Mark Zuno freestyle I was talking about too was probably at Rocky Mountain. But
yeah.
yeah, so sorry for coming down on you in the beginning there. But you're probably right. Yeah, it's gonna be.
I
Interesting.
honestly,
Competitive and interesting, but
I think Connor's gonna take it.
I think yeah.
If he lands his tricks, he's so good.
yeah,
I mean, Evan could come and compete.
yeah,
and
but
win.
yeah.
Like
When you think about it that way, there are like 6-7 people that
Yeah,
are in the running
so it
that
is
could.
stacked.
But that's in order for that to happen, so many people have to mess up. You know what I mean? For
Right.
like a Mark Zuno or a Nick DeValpine to come through with the W, and it's like, do you think that Connor Seals is gonna mess up that hard? Like, who knows? Like, do you think Justin's gonna mess up that hard? Who knows? Like, it would take a lot. I think there's a lot that would have to tumble down and fall over before a couple of those people that are on like the bottom half of that group would be able to come up and make, because there's like a 10-15 point difference between some of those guys, you know what I mean? Because like Justin has incredible performance, like subjective evaluations, like his evals, excuse me.
I really think Hunter could come through quite easily. Also,
Yeah.
I feel like he's been quiet this year. He didn't do the whole regional sweep thing, but
He had a
like,
crazy
I'm sure
run
he
last
has
year,
an
yeah.
insane freestyle ready for Worlds and that.
I wonder if that's why he decided not to do
I think
the
so.
regional
I think
thing
he's
this
like
year.
laying low, but he posted a fucking crazy trick recently, like a neck stole, but it lands in an Eiffel Tower.
Oh,
like
wow.
it's
Damn.
around his neck and it's just an Eiffel Tower. It's like what I have no concept of how the fuck.
I'm surprised more people don't like hit themselves on stage doing those tricks, or like if you mess up, if you fuck up on one of those,
Yeah.
it's so easy to just like can't pop it out of your.
No, there's
little
no way
nipple
he'll do
right
this
away.
in his freestyle
No,
yet.
yeah.
Like it wasn't. He didn't even hit it super clean for the video, but
Mhm.
the concept is cool. Oh, what's the 4A one? Theo's buddy, Miles Gregory. Dude, he posted a story the other day too, like of some wild ass 1A where he's doing like neck stole, opposite neck stole, and then like Brent Stoll's like around his shoulders and his arms and stuff. He has crazy 1A. Like I probably not necessarily in the running to win nationals,
No,
obviously,
no.
but like
But if you
He's
were to
one of
hit
my
a clean
favorite 1A.
routine with those tricks, like
he has such
up
cool
there.
tricks.
Yeah.
I really like Miles Gregory's tricks. Shout out Miles. We had a question last. Thank you for the question. That was a really good one. Please text in. Now we're going to go to the phone call questions. We had one from Dookie last week that we forgot about. Basically, we're not going to listen. Dookie just asked if Oxygen still makes yo-yos. And I don't think they do, right? Like,
No,
no.
they don't. And then he like texted me after he called. I don't know how long after, but he's like, "Don't read my question on the air next week." And I was like,
Oh,
"Why?"
well,
like,
sorry, Dookie.
like, what did you say? Like,
It was nothing bad. It
no,
was-
yeah.
he was
And then
just
when I
like-
listened to it a few days later, I was like, "Is this what you didn't want us to listen to? Is whether or not oxygen?" Probably because he just Googled it afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I guess they don't. Never mind." All
Yeah.
right. Like,
I wish they would. That would be cool. All right. Well, here's one. We got a bunch. We just got two like while the pod has been going.
really?
Yeah. So they're coming in, but here's one from earlier. Turn up the volume here.
I have a question for you, Tyler Severance, and Jake Bullock. Simple question. What are your favorite fade colors? Got any favorite
so
fades? I want to see sunsets. I want to see unicorn fades. I want to see Throgurts. I want to see pizza fade. I don't care. Give me a list of some of your top five. Top five of your favorite fades. Each of you. Each of y'all. If Michael's Kurti is there too, also him.
Top 5 favorite fades.
He said he
Ooh.
doesn't care. Throgurts, pizza fades. He said even a pizza fade.
What the hell's a pizza?
I don't
fade? Is that a
know.
color?
I guess it would be
Be the
like
thing.
red, brown, and yellow.
I love that idea. Wow.
Oh god, that sounds horrible. Red, brown, and
I
yellow.
kind of want to go grab a slice right now. I don't
Yeah,
know.
bro. We got the pod pizza here. I don't- My favorite is the Throgurt, the Good Life.
yeah, Throgurt's
Yeah.
by far the best fade that's ever been made.
Yeah.
I need to jack that one.
Damn, thanks. Yeah, that's my favorite. I'd say.
I like most triple fades. I don't like almost. Oh, and then I really like the black silver half fade, where it's like half black, half silver yo-yo.
Yeah, black and white cookie.
Yeah, the black and white cookie,
Mint chip.
the ebony and ivory fade.
Has that been done a lot? The mint chip one, the green and brown.
I think CYW might have done one back in the
Oh,
day.
really?
There's like a yo-yo called like the mint toothpaste. Or
I
something.
saw that recently.
It's so I don't know
It
why
has a
I
much
like
longer
it.
name. It's called like mint chip is not toothpaste or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Ben Gates is like he really likes them. He has one that I used like
Of
last
course
week.
he
That's the
does.
name of the
Yeah.
actual yo-yo.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Is it made by that weird company Ben Gates loves? That's like from Japan that makes like yo-yo jam
like
reproductions.
Sturm Panzer?
Yeah,
Is it
Sturm Panzer.
I think it's
I don't
its
know who
own
makes
thing.
it.
Every
But it's-
time I
it's a
see
cool
Ben at
color.
a contest, he just
It
has
is a cool color. It's like mint with like chocolate speckles in it, like mint green. It is very cool. It's just like what a crazy name and like
Yeah.
concept. I guess they're supposed to
wild.
mean like toothpaste is mint flavored, ice cream is mint flavored, but they don't taste alike. And it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I don't get
Is that
it.
like a Japanese saying, like a bathing ape that like
Yeah.
we don't have over here and it just doesn't
Maybe.
translate the same or what?
Um,
I think the artwork is just literally like a bowl of ice cream with like a cross through it or something.
yeah, sounds crazy.
Yeah, and then it's like I don't know if that's I think the one Ben had it's like toothpaste, like it's like the toothbrush emblem is on the side of the yo-yo.
Choco Mintao. Every year as the rainy season starts and the summer begins, the Choco Mintao eagerly awaits the release of Choco Mint ice cream. So it is like a Japanese culture thing. Like he goes on and on. He's like the Akagi milk industry Shingaku Rukun Ultra Choco Mint is a collaboration with the movie Shin Ultraman.
4 of those words are made up.
Choco Mintu sometime receive humiliating words from ordinary people without any malice. Doesn't Choco Mint taste like toothpaste? How many times have we heard these words? That
Never.
word.
No one has ever said that in
That-
America.
That word, which is a blasphemy to all Choco Minsters, cannot be unheeded.
Is that a slur, Choco Minster?
Okay. Anyway,
Oh
this
my
yo-yo
gosh.
looks insane, but there's no way I can name 5 fades that I love.
I
don't-
think the first fade I remember being a thing was One Drop did an orange to red fade.
that's right.
And that one was really, really cool because it like looked like a sunset. The orange on a yo-yo, unless you're very specific about how you want it to look, can very easily turn into like a shitty gold color. So like
yeah.
that was also cool to see like a vibrant, bright orange on a yo-yo. Trying to think what other fades I like. Throw-gurt, like we said, is by far the best fade.
Triple fades can be really sick. 3 color fades.
Anytime I ask the factory about them, though, they kind of act like it's not really doable, though. I don't know.
Yeah. They give me all kinds of weird shit for combos I come up with in the past. I think even green brown they wouldn't let me do. That's why I
Yeah, they were telling me, like, oh, it might be an issue to do with a firecracker. And I was like, why? Just
Yeah.
like, dude, maybe it's because of like where the colors
Oh.
combine. It might not make a clean color.
And I
It
wanted-
like makes the color like the shade is different. You know.
I wanted to do orange silver and they wouldn't do that either.
Why not? That's
I don't know. That one seemed obvious, but yeah, they just like couldn't or didn't want to. But
It's like, how can black silver work and orange silver not? Like,
We did like one called Mud Skipper on the first one of goalies that was like brown with blue speckle.
mhm.
And it was supposed to be like a light, like a mint chip speckle, but it just turned out like dark green. It actually was kind of cool, but like they told us beforehand the same shit. They're like, no, this isn't gonna work. Like,
Yeah. I wonder if it would be like a good idea to just like draw like a little personal swatch of how you want the color to look before you send it in, you know what I mean? And maybe that would help them in some sort of way instead of just
Yeah.
like, because when you use like too many words, I feel like it kind of muddies it and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, like,
yeah.
I feel like they just, at least in my case, FPM, they see shit that like, oh, we haven't really done this a lot before, so like we're not gonna do that for 25 of your yo-yo because I get like such small amounts anyway. They're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
let's not take the risk. Like you might not like it, and then we're gonna have to redo it. So we'll just say we can't do it.
that's a good point. Yeah, which I guess I don't blame them, but
Right.
even that, it would be nice if they could like explain that instead of just being
Yeah.
like not possible. And it's like,
yeah.
are you sure? Because like I swear, if fucking Sturm Panzer does it in like 6 months, I'm gonna be pissed. Like,
Yeah.
what are some other good fades? One Drop honestly had like the fade game on lock for so long. That was like their anodized novelty was like half and half colors. They did, I forget it's like a jade color. Maybe they just called it jade. It was like half aqua blue, half
Half green,
green. Yeah,
Angelo's fade is pretty cool, I think, because it's like subtle.
it's okay.
Is
Fair.
it like red and
It's
yellow or
like
something?
pink and orange.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pink.
It's
and
cool.
orange.
It's just like, I don't know. It's very similar to that first One Drop fade I was mentioning, but it is cool. I know it's the stone fruit one from SF.
Oh right, yeah. Which at the time that was like such a memorable.
It was very
fade.
cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a very cool combination. It's funny how like when we say SF, they're like, "Man, that's fucking cool," and then it's like it's the Angelo fade. It's like, man, it's okay. Like it's all right. Fades. It's funny. I was thinking about this earlier when we originally went over that message. Like it can work well in so many ways because like Caribou Lodge have done a lot of fades that are like close in shading. You know what I mean? They'll do like a light blue, a dark blue. They'll do like red, 2 reds or something, but like it looks cool. You know what I mean? It's like very
yeah.
subtle.
Alex's company Heaven Sent, which was like under the CLYW umbrella, he did that creep yo-yo.
Mhm.
The first creep, I had it and I traded it away. I wish I didn't. Was like lemon fade, so it was just like yellow and then a slightly different shade of yellow, like gold basically, and it was very cool because it was so subtle. You like really could almost not tell at all unless you looked really close.
Yeah, that's kind of a really cool concept to do,
Yeah.
like 2 same tone of a yo-yo, but like completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an aqua blue and like a midnight blue or something would be fucking crazy. Like,
Dude, yeah, what the fuck?
because it might like actually gradient, not super
Yeah.
smooth, but like look very cool
Oh,
going from one
shit.
to the other.
Yeah, get some
fades that just like kind of exist as a natural gradient in real life. I feel like are the coolest. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where,
Yeah.
like the sunset one, the jade one. Like there's trying to think of some other good examples. The stone fruit one, because that actually is a real fruit or a type of fruit, a genre of fruit.
What's your favorite fruit genre? Great question. Great energy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
if
you're
you
good.
have more
Can you think of any
fades.
more fades? No.
I really can't.
Tell everyone how you came up with the Throggert fade, Kurti.
Yeah. Were you eating the Go-Gurt?
Great
yeah.
name too. It's very rare.
It's so good.
Like I used to always really like when Caribou Lodge would come up with their really cool colorways, I would always really dislike the names because it was like so personal to Chris. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I get it, it's cool, but this isn't like, I don't know, it's like a small town in Canada that he's like, oh yeah, there's this bus stop that we all hang out at.
Right.
Like-
The Chinook wind, like that was like some winds that like trade winds in Canada. I remember being like 17. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's not like Supreme with New York or Palace with the UK where it's like their storytelling with like a really cool influential place that everyone wants to visit and be inspired by. It's like
Yeah, I literally
rule Canada. Sorry, go ahead, Kurti.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Thurger was just like, I was just trying to make like a pastel, like a 3-color pastel fade, and then we got it, and then I was like, yo, C-Rod, like, doesn't this remind you of Go-Gurt? And he was like, that's it, man, Throgert.
That's
So that
very
was all
C-Rod
C-Rod.
answer.
Yeah,
I thought you had a vape that was that color.
maybe. I mean, I think I did actually.
But
That's
maybe
funny,
you got
yeah.
it after the color came out. Like you made the color and then like you got it, and then I think I do remember this story now. Yeah.
No, I don't know if the vape had anything to do with it, but I definitely was color. I was color matched for a minute after that.
I think
yeah.
the vape was after the Throger color came in.
Yeah,
Great colorway. One of the all-time greats.
Yeah. Bro, I got some Go-Gurts recently, and they don't hit the same as when I was a kid. They
Did you
fucked up the flavors.
Did
They
you
don't-
freeze them or?
Yeah. I froze them because I remembered that I used to do that when I was a kid, and I
Yeah.
really liked the texture. But like they got too hard. I don't know if my freezer's too cold or like they just weren't the same. I don't know if they changed the formula.
Yeah, that's something I'm always curious about, is if the formulas change or our taste buds change, you
The
know?
flavors were shittier. Like I just wanted like strawberry, and like at least my grocery store didn't have that at all. It was all like wild ass Gen Z flavors. And then they're also like, I don't know if they were big, if I was just smaller or if they were bigger, but weren't Go-Gurts like a foot long? Like they were like a pixie stick.
They did make
Like
bigger
giant-
ones when we were kids.
Because now they're like this.
Yeah, shrinkflation.
They're like little tiny like handhelds. And I was like, it doesn't matter, but I was just like, this is so
What
different.
is this baby dick
wild.
yogurt? What the
Yeah.
fuck is this?
Yeah, I want to deep throat my gut. Squeeze that tube down my throat.
Oh my god.
I don't know what it is about Go-Gurt. It just has like such a distinct like fake fruity flavor. Like
That's what I wanted. Yeah, I just wanted that fake ass strawberry, but
Are they that bad for you? I don't think they are really.
they have a lot of sugar in them.
Do they really?
All yogurt, unless you get like Greek sugar-free Greek yogurt, like all yogurt has like a shitload. I've been on a yogurt kick lately.
Yeah. No,
but-
it is something that when I get like, you know, one yogurt every 3 months or whatever, like the big container, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to put this in my smoothies for probiotics.
Yeah.
I'll like look at all the different yogurts in the aisle, and finally I'm like,
gotta
I gotta
go
get the
Greek for
zero
that.
sugar one. Yeah.
Get the
right.
Greek plain for a smoothie, yeah, but good with some granola in it. I like a yogurt. All right, we got another one.
Hey, JK Tyler. Big fan of the show. I got a question for you, if you want to throw it on the podcast. What would be your guys' dream collab with another company in the yo-yo scene? Or if you saw two companies coming together, like what would be your dream collab that like would absolutely blow your mind from other makers? Anyway, keep up the awesome podcast. It's a great listen. Take it easy, guys.
That's a good question.
Thank
too.
you. Great question. Duncan for me, 100%, no
Yeah.
doubt. If I could ever do anything with Duncan, I'd be like, that would be, I'd be done. I'm like,
I'd
that's
be
all-
done. I'm not doing any
That
more
just like
yo-yos.
would legitimize all of my yo-yo career for me.
Yeah.
If I could say like, yeah, you know, Duncan yo-yos, like I did this, whatever. with
People
them.
just don't care about that anymore either. Like when we
Yeah,
did the
but-
Danny freehand, like I even kept like the huge box it came in because it says like Danny freehand on the outside.
Wow.
Yeah, like the 12 pack, and I was like, wow, that's so awesome. And like everyone in my family was just like, oh, cool, like nice, this looks
Wow.
cool. And I'm like, you don't understand how like
They're Janet. Well, no, your parents are a little older than Janet.
yeah, they're older, but just I don't know. And
A certain
everyone
age
is aware of
respects
Dunkin'
it.
yo-yos,
Yeah.
so you know.
I
what
think
mean?
maybe that age is like dying off. Like older people who like grew up in I feel like the 60s or 50s, like they're the ones who were like, oh, Duncan. Like I remember when the Duncan man came to my,
Yeah.
like I feel like it's older people.
Which when we first started, those people were like 45,
Right.
maybe 50, and now they're like entering
Yeah.
their 70s and 80s. And it's
So
like,
maybe that's it. But for me, that's just like, I wouldn't. Yeah.
mine would be Bang Bros.
Blacked.
I gotta show
It's
you.
like unknown edition.
Yeah, oh my god! I gotta show you guys this Kanye West transcript from his recent court cases. It's fucking absurd. It's
Oh,
crazy.
dude, I've been wanting to send you those, but I figured you already seen them.
Oh yeah,
they
they're
pop up on my
hilarious,
feed
though,
every day,
yeah.
and they get worse and worse. They're fucking horrifying.
I follow this one sneaker intellectual property lawyer, and he reposted them, and he was like, Kanye West's lyrics are pretty outlandish though, so they might be able to argue that these are actually song lyrics.
Oh, I've seen so many people saying that.
I was
Like,
like,
he's
what the
just gonna take these and do an album of like the exact
Dude,
things.
there are crazy text messages, especially to like send here, as if they are really messages that he's sending to his assistant.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
insane. Like, oh my god. Yeah, Duncan would be a good one. I mean, Duncan is a lot different now than we were kids. Like, they're still a legendary company, but like, you know, we grew up on like a version of Duncan that was like pinnacle of yo-yo
Yeah.
taste making,
where there's no way they would collaborate with anyone.
right?
So now it seems much more obtainable, which doesn't make it any less desirable for me personally, but it's different. It definitely is different.
Right. And
Um,
I have a collab coming out with Duncan soon,
Yeah.
so be on the lookout for it. I really don't know, man. Like, that's not that I wouldn't want to collaborate with anyone, but it's just like yo-yo's in like a very, I don't want to say uninspired is the right word, but it's like just none of the companies really hit the same as they used to. Like even Yo-Yo Factory now, like Kurti and I were talking about this the other day, where like if you in like 2007, 8, 9, if you were to like see where Yo-Yo Factory was now, or like it like very quickly went downhill from like releasing all the best yo-yos and the best colorways and the best pictures to where they are now, you'd be like so off put by it. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't want to be a fan of it anymore because it's so
Right.
crazy. Like there's very little effort put into it versus like 15 years ago. I mean, I would love to collaborate with Atmos because we make a lot of similar shaped yo-yos, but and they're great. Like,
Yeah.
but there's, yeah, I don't know. It sounds like I'm talking shit. I'm not, because yo-yoing isn't the best place that it's ever been, but it's also like just shit doesn't hit the same because it's so turn and burn and people are releasing so many things. And I mean, Caribou Lodge would be great too, but
Yeah, I was gonna say I would love to do that just because I love Steve so much.
That'd be really cool for me to have like
That
a
would
full
be really
circle
cool.
moment.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah, you guys should for sure. For me, I'd like to collaborate more with like some of my favorite players would be a dream. Like if I could ever do something with someone like Yuki, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
not necessarily
yeah.
a company, but if I could just like
that would be even cooler.
make a
right?
yo-yo
Yeah.
with Yuki
Jason
or
Lee,
Jason
Spencer,
Lee,
yeah, all that.
that
kind of
would
stuff,
be really
yeah.
really cool.
And then the other part of their question was like, what two companies would we like to see collaborate? Like Duncan and Caribou Lodge would be awesome.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I swear, like a year, 2 years ago, something like that, I saw them commenting on each other's pictures, and Brian or whoever was like, "Oh, we should collab," and then Steve was like, "Oh, cool, check your DM," and I was like, "Oh, I'll see that at some point," but like, never really came to fruition. I feel like Caribou Lodge has also done a handful of collabs that have like kind of gone under the radar. Like I forgot today that they did a C3 collab like 10
Really?
years ago. Yeah,
Oh,
they
wow.
did a
The
high five chief. Yeah.
I feel like they should just do a freehand in like in brown or something with like some CLYW art on it. You know what I mean? Like
That'd
I
be
don't know.
cool. Yeah. Or just yeah, I don't know.
Make it look like a log.
Oh,
I don't know. That's their thing.
Duncan and Yo-Yo Jam would have been sick back in the day.
That's just like it would, but that like hurts my brain. Like it just wouldn't happen back then. It just like could have just because what we were saying, like Duncan just. It's funny, like no one collaborated back then. Everyone was like very
like if they just made like a freehand
That would've
shaped
been
yo-yo
crazy,
with like
yeah.
Hitman rings kind of deal, like that would have been insane.
Oh my
Like,
God.
yeah, not straight up the same shape, but like a freehand shape with like Yo-Yo Jam plastic and a metal ring on the outside and a cap. Like that would have been insane.
I feel like it might be because I was a little kid, but I feel like the companies back then like didn't like each other. Like I feel like it's probably not true, but I feel like Dale would have been like, "Well, I'm not putting pads in my yo-yo," and Duncan would have been like, "Well, we're not putting starbursts and O-rings in our yo." You know what I mean?
You're not wrong. I mean,
I
yeah.
think that people were just like more like
Huber has told me it was like that during the boom. Like the companies were very
not putting fucking cork pads in this shit, brake pads or whatever they are.
Did you ever see the Yomega Yo-Yo Jam collab?
No,
It wasn't really like a
Yomega.
collab, but like when Yomega was on, or excuse me, maybe it was when like Yo-Yo Jam was on the way out. Actually, they like put out some designs through Yomega. I guess just because Yomega had like really good distribution at the time, and yeah, like it wasn't anything crazy. It was just like random Cellcon yo-yos, like in a crazy blister packaging. None of them really played well. But
Wow, I missed that.
what about you, Kurti? Just Caribou Lodge?
I don't know. Also, something is really cool.
Yeah, they don't really make too many yo-yos anymore, though, do they?
I didn't see. Oh, I don't know. Didn't Mickey just come out with a speeder? Like
That was like
maybe it was like
2 years ago. Yeah,
That was really that long
Yeah.
ago. Damn. Yeah, I don't know.
it was good though. That yo-yo.
Yeah, something is one of my favorite brands though.
Yo-Yo also makes really good yo-yos too, but like their branding and artwork is always very peculiar. So like that makes it a little less desirable, but to me anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love how we like just instantly pick like 3 or 4 of like the oldest yo-yo companies because it's like I don't know, if you're a new company, you don't really have like a good lineage to reference, or like there's not a great like archive to pick from or make these things with. Like
Out of hand for me.
yeah, Out of Hand is great.
I have actually asked him multiple times, and he's just not doing yo-yos right now. But
yeah.
I really hope someday we can. I would just love to do some off the wall thing with him.
Yeah, Anti-Yo and anyone would be awesome.
Oh
Even
yeah,
though, like I guess you could consider the Kuntosh kind of like an Anti-Yo one drop collab, but like that one's amazing. The artwork is amazing.
Yeah.
The yo-yo looks amazing. It comes in dope colors. Like everything about it is great. And
I just realized, like, I didn't understand how that happened. Like, because Antio made Kuntosh with Sunny made the Kuntosh with one drop, and they made 10 of them, one of which I have. I just realized. And then like years went by and nothing happened with it. Then One Drop just by themselves made the one that had like the engraving on it. And the difference was it had One Drop's color palette and One Drop's finish.
Mhm.
So I have like the original with the Antio finish, and mine's blue and silver because that was like my colorway with Antio. But that Yo-Yo Factory made into the team edition. But
I think it was like a collaboration with Sunny. They just didn't put his name on the yo-yo or anything.
right, it still was, but like I didn't realize there were like 2 different versions of it.
Oh, right.
yeah, like, and I have like the OG. That I
have
guess
you played with a new one, or do you have?
I have a nickel plate, a new one. I
Oh,
don't have
okay.
like a standard new one.
Is it wider?
They're different too. The design is slightly different. So
just a little bit, or
yeah, it's a
Okay.
different yo-yo technically, but
yeah.
I just didn't know. Like I thought it was just one-off thing that they did.
Yeah, that Kuntosh originally, when was that made? Like 2009, 2010 kind
It's
of
like
area?
10 probably.
Because like that was such a ahead of its time kind of design.
It was wild,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It was great, and yeah.
But oh shit, what was I gonna say before that? I forget. Oh yeah, doing something with Antio would be cool, but I'm not sure it's really possible, like, to be really anti. I mean, I'm sure you could, but I don't know if Kia and Sunny like are really would like do something Antio related together necessarily or not. But
I feel like you're kind of an extension of that, you know what I mean? And like the way that you are making yo-yos and
yeah,
your design aesthetic and like everything associated with the Dunk brand is kind of like in the same vein of Antio, in my opinion.
well, thank you. That's really nice. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I'm obviously inspired by them a lot. So.
Yeah. Do you have any other good ones, Kurti, or what would your dream? Maybe not your personal dream collaboration, but two companies that would be a crazy collaboration.
I don't know. Duncan and like almost anyone would be cool.
Yeah,
Duncan's cool.
Duncan and One Drop would be cool too. One Drop made Duncan
One Drop,
yo-yos
I
for a long
forgot.
time.
I would love to do something with One Drop. An American made yo-yo would be so cool.
Yeah. Good question.
Mal
Great
and
question.
Recess.
Mal is a good one too.
Did you guys actually make a yo-yo or just like
No,
special editions?
we've just always done editions. Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of like technically pitched AG the H-shape hybrid yo-yo, which I don't know if you've seen or not. It's like a supernova shaped hybrid,
Okay.
but they just kind of like adopted it for themselves and were like, they needed like a release on like National Yo-Yo Day a few years ago, and they were like done, and they were like, oh, is it okay if we just like release these? And I was like, yeah, I don't care, whatever. It was just a big miscommunication, I think, but it is what it is. I'm not mad about it. But yeah, every other thing we've done has just been like basically styled by Recess, like artwork, and then we picked colors or whatever. And yeah,
Word. Yeah.
Mal's a good one though. Like their artwork is amazing. Basically, all their yo-yos are really good. Like,
I remember thinking that like in 2017 or 2016, I was like, wow, like Mal and Recess would be such a cool collab.
we did almost, well, kind of like we were gonna share a table together at Worlds in 2016. You remember that? Like the logo for Worlds that year was like the Recess owl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then like AG just didn't come at the last minute, like a week or two before. He's like, oh, I can't make it. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, okay. Like,
And then there was like T-shirts or something too.
yeah, I still have a bunch of them, but whatever. All good. Maybe I'll just cut the Mal off of it or something. I don't know. Did you say we got more questions?
We got two more.
Holy
You want to do
cow.
them?
Yeah, sure.
This one's long.
Oh, God.
It's from Beverage Chakus.
Yo, dudes. Beverage Chocolate here. So I want you guys to talk about what we can do or what, I don't know. I just want to talk about what we can do to convince people to make more full-length yo-yo videos and less vertical filmed Instagram clips. Because I don't think it's just me in my old ways, because it's even with new videos that were posted just last year, there's this one, two of them actually. This one, Tapio, featuring Zai Hao Song, I think is how you say it, filmed by JDM Yo-Yos. Just over 2 minutes long. It's very basic, but the video is absolutely incredible, and it's so memorable, and I've watched it so many times because of that. And like, if this dude, I'm sure he does have an Instagram full of, tricks that are posted, maybe not, I don't know. But even if he did, I'd see one of those tricks, and he'd be like, whoa, that's so cool. And then later on, if I wanted to go find it, it's nearly impossible with some of these pages where they're just full of all these tricks with the same background, in the same spot, same lighting, everything. And it's, it's hard to rewatch stuff, so everything just goes and gets lost to the sands of time. But the full lengths, even these ones that are hardly even a full length, it's only over 2 minutes long. So like every time, or everything in it is just so memorable. And it's right here. I can find it in 2 seconds whenever I want to see it again. And this other one that Duncan posted with Hank Freeman and Polo or something like that. It's only a couple minutes long, and I've watched it so many times now. So, yeah, I want to figure out a way to convince the rest of the community to make more full lengths. And so my idea was to, at least on my end, I'm going to try and make a tutorial on just how to film a basic video with like, the editing, and just kind of show people that it's a little bit more work than just posting one little clip, but it's really not that much and more work. And in the end, I feel even a 1.5 minute quote unquote full length video, even just like 2, 3, 4 tricks is, it's just so much more memorable and so much cooler. And I think everybody should, do that a lot more. I guess that's it. I just want to hear what you guys have to say about that. Love you, dudes. Love this show. And, shout out Deadhead Designs and Alchemic Yo-Yos. All right. Later.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. There's a dog bark, I think, at the end.
Yeah, I totally agree with him in terms of like long format videos are more memorable, and if done the right way are more accessible, or like you want to they have more rewatchability than just a single trick. I mean, because it's like you can create like a vibe in a video, you can like create a better aesthetic. Like you can do that with a vertical filmed reel too, but it's just a lot more difficult to have rewatchability when it comes to making a vertical video. Seth and I were talking about this today, and like the idea that like something that's filmed in landscape or like cinema format, it like, because of the cinematography and the wider scope you have, it's like you're like, you watch it and it becomes like more serious in that way. Like vertical, there's like less details happening, so it's very focused on
interesting little psychological thing.
Yeah.
Instagram kind of makes the landscape look like shit though.
Oh yeah, because it smushes
which really
down,
sucks. Like I'm making those tutorials, which I'm obviously filming in landscape for YouTube, and then like I share it on Instagram too, because no one fucking watches YouTube, or at least my shit on YouTube. So, but it just looks bad. It makes everything tiny. It's a shame.
Yeah, it's hard to convince people, because as society becomes more algorithmically based and like everything is on social media, people are doing it for the likes and like the immediate gratification. So like making a full length is it's more difficult, but it's also like, I don't even think it's so much the effort as like people don't want to make a video and it gets 3, 4, maybe 500 views, and then they're like, oh cool, like that's it. And
I also think that like Instagram is more for like, if you have a new trick or a new concept, like of course I feel like you should post it to Instagram. But like if you have like 5 or 6 different tricks or concepts you've been working on, it's like an album, like, you know what I mean? If you put together a whole video, it's like you can really curate a vibe in the video. It doesn't have to be every trick is brand new.
Great point. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, like if players were to just kind of like take their Instagram tricks and like tweak them a little, make it into a whole vibe of a video, that'd be really cool. See more of that.
Yeah. People just, that's another reason, is like they don't want to repeat the tricks in the video if they've already put them out on Instagram. And it's like people want to see the classics, you know what I mean? It's crazy that one 5A video I made like 3-4 weeks ago for the nickel plated firecracker release, like that got like 11,500 views just because I'm playing 5A and everyone wanted to see it. But then like Mark did his voiceover thing with it, that got like 6,000 views. And then the 5A Forever profile just cut out one of the tricks from it and then put that up, and that got like another 3,000 or 4,000 views. It's like, damn, that did 20,000 views off one 90-second clip, and it was filmed vertically, but it had a vibe of like a full-length video, you know what I mean? It was a couple different spots, like, and it's all tricks that I've been doing for 15 years now. It's not anything really new. It's a couple new things here and there, but nothing that's incredibly impactful new. So it's like, yeah, it's, as much as it, you know, you don't want to do the same thing over and over again, it's like, it's kind of worth it in a way. And I'm sure I brought this example up on the podcast before. Yeah, if you create something that has rewatchability, or you can listen to it over and over again, like it's going to be more impactful for a longer period of time than just like getting 800 likes on one Instagram thing, which most people aren't even going to be able to pull off anyway. And again, I think I brought this example up on the podcast before. It's something I love to bring up to younger yo-yo players. Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar's first album, is still on the Billboard top 200 albums and has been since it got released. in like 2011, right, or something like that.
It's fucking crazy.
So it's been like 13 years, and it's constantly every week one of the top 200 selling albums in America. And this is even pre-Spotify, really. Like, Spotify was a thing at the time, but it wasn't like
How
the
is that
main.
possible? Like,
Just because it's a classic album. I mean, like every.
are people buying it on iTunes or something?
No,
I
like
guess?
it's the streams are counted for the
Oh,
200.
got it.
But like same thing with like Biggie or like Elvis albums, the Beatles albums, like
Right.
how the Mariah Carey Christmas song shoots up to #1 every Christmas because like, not that the Mariah Carey Christmas song has like re-listenability, it's just because of a holiday. But like those other artists I just named, Biggie, the Beatles, Jay-Z, Kanye West, like they all have music that like is timeless and people want to listen to constantly. So like it's going to continue to earn spots on the chart because they're, you know, every time like one of them releases a new album, their other albums inevitably get like a bump because you're going to go back and listen to them. You're going to go back and stream them again. So like if you create something that's timeless, it's going to have lasting power versus just like something that's created for a short-term platform like Instagram or TikTok, where it's like, all right, it's like built into the algorithm that you're watching it once and then swiping away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I still rewatch like the old like Jensen and Charles videos from the CLYW era.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
It's not even about the tricks. It's just like this is a vibe.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah.
It sucks to have such a simplistic way of describing it, but that really is it. You like curate a vibe for a video that like people enjoy watching, especially people that don't have yo-yo friends. Like we're very lucky to be living within a couple hours of each other and we can come hang out together and do this. Cause like there's people that live across the country that like that is part of their huge formal connection to yo-yo, and why like when you go to contests and someone gets super excited to meet you because they've like spent hours with you, you know what I mean, watching your content over and over again, and that's like their connection to yo-yo and how they interact with our community versus like going to a yo-yo club, getting to go to contests 6 times a year, whatever the case may be.
I love full-length videos. I don't do them regularly because they are more work, and because I fall victim to what you were saying. Like I just assume people aren't going to watch the whole thing because of attention span, or my tricks aren't good enough, whatever. So I just, for Instagram, stick with short stuff. But I am working on a long-term project that'll be like, I have the song picked out, and I like the vision in my head, like the storyboard. It's going to be like a 4-minute video. But
wow.
It's going to be like greatest hit. It's just, I want to refilm all my best tricks from my whole YouTube catalog.
Mm-hmm.
As an adult in good quality with a sick soundtrack, to have that just on YouTube as like, this is like my whole oeuvre, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just for me, like not for, just because some of my old videos, the quality is so bad, like you can't even really tell what's going on. So I have to relearn a lot of tricks. So it's taking forever, but I am working on it. Look out for that in like 2 years, maybe.
2 years. That's an awesome idea that I wish more
I'm excited. It's going to be pretty epic.
pros would kind of do, you know, because we all have old tricks like that would be cool to redo.
Just to like, I don't know what the word, like create a firm like record of like, this is all my favorite shit that I ever made, you know, here it is in like HD.
It's like a Rosetta Stone almost, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. And my like little cousins in town are all like really into yo-yo right now, and like their dad was asking me about like the last time that I like really like put in a lot of effort to like create a yo-yo trick, or like when's the last time I made up like an amazing trick or whatever. And I was like, it genuinely takes like a long time and like a long concerted effort. It's very rare that like you just stumble across like a new little 2-string hit thing and you're like, oh man, this is sick. Like it happens a couple times a year, and like I maybe make up like 3 or 4 little tricks a year, but it's been like around 10 years since I've really made up like a full length like 16-20 string hit trick.
It's a young man's game.
It really is. Yeah,
I was just telling Kurti, like I can't memorize, like I don't know how. I was saying to him how I don't know how he memorizes
that long combo he
like
posted
long
today,
like the one he posted today with just so much slack movement and like counting how many times the slack's going. Like I just can't personally, I mean, I could. It's just really, it's difficult, man. Like,
Yeah.
but I feel like when I was younger, I could just like, yeah, I'll just fucking grind on it for a week straight, and then I'll have it memorized. Like some of the tricks I do have, I don't know how I ever memorized, but
Yeah, same. And I remember when I went to the Grand Canyon to film like one of my last Yo-Yo Factory projects. I like went back and watched like all the old studio sessions and like basically almost like every full-length video I've ever made, which isn't really possible because I don't even know all of them. But I was just like, damn, I like forget doing this trick. I forget doing that trick. Even if I watched it now, I'd probably forget some of the tricks I did, you know? But yeah. No one really has that anymore, I don't think. I think it's like a constant stream of just like you're getting better and adding tricks, and like I don't think they really have like a core set of tricks anymore, in my opinion. I'm sure it exists, but
Yeah, I feel like it's like yo-yoing is more fluid now or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like people construct different parts of combos all the time.
yeah. Because once a new thing comes out, everyone just kind of adds it to their repertoire. Like back in the day, we might learn a trick, but it was like very rare you're gonna like add that to your tricks. You know, like we both know that Adam Brewster chopsticks gyro flop thing. What is it called?
did Adam make that up?
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh wow.
I forget what it's called.
That's
Fuck.
a cool trick. Yeah.
The one that like uses the like leaning of the yo-yo and it goes around the outside and flows back over. I forget. I was just thinking about it today too, but yeah, like we all learned that because it was such a cool trick, but it wasn't like we were all now thinking like, oh, I want to add that to like a combo I do, or like I want to do that trick, you know,
Yeah.
like a version of it, whatever. But that's kind of the thing now, where it's like, oh, next duel's a thing. All right, cool. Like I'm gonna do it from behind the back, and I'm gonna do it around my shoulder instead of my neck or whatever. Like, or I'm gonna do Eiffel Tower neck laceration. Like it's a constant stream, which I don't know is a good thing. It's a bad thing.
It's different. It comes with the competition mindset and the optimization we were talking about last episode. Like people see tricks as points, and it's like, well, if it's this new version takes half a second less time and scores more point, you know, so I'm gonna take out my old way of doing it and do it this new way.
I guess music is also very similar now, where it's like a certain type of song or genre becomes like the most latest like sampled kind of sounds, then everyone starts putting out music like that, or all the very popular artists, you know. And same thing with food, you know, like fucking the seasonal novelty flavors come out and it's just like
Everyone's doing elderflower shit.
yeah,
Like
and it's
that Red Bull.
I don't know if we talked about this last time or not, or if I was talking about it with someone else, but it's very like, it's how trends used to travel back in the day, where like a lot of that shit originates in like Japan or somewhere on the Pacific Rim in Malaysia, somewhere like that. And like last year, Starbucks probably made like a crazy elderberry spritzer drink or whatever. And then the following year, it's like, oh, like now everyone's doing it. Like it just travels like regionally, and like it takes a year for everyone to catch up. And that's just how long mass production takes, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, there's no easy fix for that though. You know what I mean? This is something that a lot of the older players constantly talk about. It's just times change, and like,
Yeah, it's not just yo-yo, it's everything.
right.
Like,
Skateboarding, like,
one tip for him, or just what I do, he was talking about like, I'll see a cool trick and then like, how the fuck do I find it on some guy's page who has 100 tricks with the same background? You can obviously do the save function on Instagram, and I have a folder of tricks on Instagram for ones that I really want to save, and then ones that I'm like, this is something I want to learn eventually, or like I just want to have. I will literally screen record because there's guys like Kieran who like fucking take their tricks down, and like other players too, and I'm like, I know this isn't going to be up forever.
I'm surprised that like more people don't. Like Jensen had super fans. Like anytime that he would do that,
he has like, a bootleg YouTube still of just all his videos.
He would, like rip them down and then like post them up on their own channel, and it was like,
yeah, I'm surprised. There might be a Kieran one. I'm sure there is
somewhere, maybe, but I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of promoted. You know what I mean? Somewhere, or maybe they wouldn't because they're worried about Kieran getting mad at them or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, it's just a societal problem, and like, I don't know, but you can make full length stuff. It just, you got to be secure in your decision and not like feel like you let yourself down when it only gets a couple hundred views, or it takes a little while to gain a momentum. And like, you know, the podcast doesn't get a ton of views, but like literally every time Jake and I go to a contest, we get dozens of compliments from people at the contest that are like, oh, I love the podcast, I love watching it, it's so cool. Or
that makes it worth it.
Yeah, tons of messages on Instagram.
The views are like whatever, abysmal, depressing, but like they're real views because people watch the whole thing and like send me DMs and like comment and say like, I love it, I listen to it at work or on my commute or whatever. So like that makes it worth it to me, because I love having stuff to listen to. Like I would love to have a yo-yo podcast to listen to. You know what I mean? So, and
it's, you know, I think Charles Haycock still makes a lot of full length videos, right? That's like mostly how they promote their new videos, right? Like they make a full length, and it's got an interesting vibe to it. It's not necessarily like a classic full length video, but like it has the bones of a full length video, you know?
That's very true.
So there's ways that you can do both, or like even music now is getting shorter. Like you don't have to make a 4-minute long video. You can make a 90-second long video, as long as like it has a solid concept and the idea is there, and it just got to be something more. That's the other thing, is it's like that eventually just devolved into like people making 2-minute long videos in their room or whatever, which is like kind of defeats the purpose, you know what I mean? Like you got to put in a little more effort than that. And I don't know, or even the music, like people don't really think about what music to use, you know? Like it's just they throw on whatever, or it's like, oh, I listen to some nondescript electronic music track and throw it up on there. And it's like, I don't know, like think about soundtracks with movies, you know what I mean? And how much more impactful that makes certain films versus just like a royalty free song they throw in a Marvel movie. Like that would never happen, because like it wouldn't hit the same. Like you're not gonna watch Spider-Man if he's just like, if he's doing Spider-Man shit to type beat songs. Like anyway, do you have anything to add, Kurti?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's all. Like, right, like you can't, like I feel like just like long form is just like it should be like interesting in some way.
Yeah.
Right. Like you should have like a variety of tricks in it. Like it's just like a different, like it's just like finding the right context, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like all those Charles videos, like all the ART videos, like they don't have just one song. Like there's a lot of dimensions going on.
Yeah.
There's like the comedy part of it a lot of the time, or like there's always some sort of deeper meaning. It's probably why they do well.
Mm-hmm. All right. You want to do the last question, Jake?
Last question.
Hey, what's going on? I guess my question is kind of weird. How do you guys keep from, I guess, getting discouraged with yo-yo? In my particular case, I have a physical disability that kind of limits what I can do with the yo-yo. Basically, I've kind of taught myself how to do any of the tricks that I know how to do, but it's limited, so I get discouraged, and oftentimes, like, either take long breaks from yo-yo or sell everything and say that I'm going to quit. And I've been in and out of it for like 20, 25 years. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well, Tyler, Jake, and I hope my question leads to some content for you guys. Okay, take it easy. Bye.
Great question. Thank you.
Amazing question. Yeah, because I think that's something everyone struggles with, is staying motivated to continue yo-yoing. But when you're younger, I think it's you find something that you really enjoy about it, and then that's kind of what you continue to grind with, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think when you're younger, it's something that you like Jake and I found 5A, which like we were already decently proficient yo-yo players before we started playing 5A, but then that really kind of motivated us to get to like the next peak or whatever you want to call it, or it was like that's where we really cut our teeth, so to speak, in yo-yo. And then like once we got pretty proficient at 5A, we started getting better at 1A and like 4A. We would play all three like simultaneously. Like it's not like we stopped playing one style or the other, but it was like we definitely excelled at one more than the other ones. And then once we got really good at one, it's like, oh, I'm gonna take a break and then go play 1A. And
Yeah.
it's you gotta find different things that you enjoy about it. And I mean, I know that's easy to say because it's, I don't know, like,
Yeah, I was just thinking, like,
you can't just
would
magically
I
derive happiness.
would I be still yo-yoing if I never got like decently good at it? And I don't know if I would or not. It's like a tough question to answer. It's something I
good
never thought
question,
about.
yeah.
And it's also like I want to say yes because of the friends I've made, but then it's like I made a lot of friends after getting, like, it was easier for me as a really quiet and anxious person to make the friends I made after I was already good at yo-yoing because
Yeah.
like it's an excuse to people want to talk to you. Like
Yeah.
literally after I got second at Worlds, I remember going to nationals that year, and then like Spencer came up and talked to me, and Paul like, not that they wouldn't have, like, because I was on Antio regardless of getting second. They
Right.
probably, that was probably more the reason, but like, well, you know, it just
helps,
like was an
yeah.
icebreaker, and it really helped and brought me out of my shell and stuff. So like, I don't know, like it's hard to say. All that to say, like, being good at it is what made me really love it and stick with it. But
Yeah, when I I forgot what I was gonna say.
I don't know, like, I obviously can't speak for having any kind of physical disability either that
Right.
affects yo-yoing. Although
that
I do
one's
have this
tough.
broken pinky now that affects guitar playing, like,
Oh my god.
pretty badly. Like, I really, there's chords I just cannot do because of this fucking pinky.
Oh, did you break
So,
it some time
Yeah,
ago?
I broke
or-
it a couple years ago.
Oh, word.
It's all like bent like that,
Mm.
but it just doesn't stretch far anymore. It has like a plate in it, so that definitely discourages me. Some days I was playing guitar this morning and I like literally can't play this one chord. So I can see that definitely being a bummer, but it's like Tyler said, you gotta find something. Obviously, you said you've been doing it 20, 25 years on and off, so something keeps bringing you back.
Yeah.
Whether, I don't know if you go to contests or where you live or what, if it's that aspect or if it's just relaxing. I mean, yo-yoing is definitely just physically, like, feels good to me to do, and helps me relax, slows my heart rate. So
Yeah, that's one thing that when I started to get bummed out on yo-yos a few years back, or periodically, I think we all get bummed out on it. You really have to like take solace or hone in on the things you really enjoy about it and like remember why you do it. And it's not to like, you know, collect a million yo-yos.
yeah,
It's
or
not
impress everyone, or
Right,
sell a bunch of yo-yos. I get stuck with that now that I sell it. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, it feels like work for a second. And I
Right.
gotta remind, like, I don't even have to be doing this. Like, this is just part of it. Like,
Yeah.
I just like doing this thing. Like,
Yeah, so you got to think deeply personal about like what you enjoy about it and like, you know, think about that. Like Jake was saying, I don't know if you live near a yo-yo club or anything, but like the community is a great. It sucks now that a lot of community is online. It was when we were kids too, but it's like that would kind of continue growing throughout the year until like Worlds happened or something, and then like everyone would converge. And
back
hang
then,
out.
the online was a means to communicate, to meet up in person. I feel like more
Right.
so than now.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like, people are content to just be online. Like, back then, the internet was just different in that, like, oh, well, we can chat on the boards about when our next club meet's going to be, and like start these weird, like, Team Mysterious Raccoon and like all that
Right.
weird, like, that was just a whole thing. So
Like
it
that's
was-
kind of why I started running contests, was because it was like they'll let anybody run a contest, but like, oh, I want to hang. That's the part I enjoy most about yo-yoing, is hanging out with my friends and the community of it. So it's like, oh, I can like run one of those and have another chance to hang out with my friends for a weekend and like get everyone together and compete again, and like it's a cool idea, you know. Yeah, it's like Jake and I were saying, we can't really speak about the physical disability part of it, but even that, I feel like there's got to be some style or subsect of yo-yoing that might be a little easier for you. Like, I don't know if it's whatever your disability may be, but like whatever part of yo-yoing you can do, I would just say kind of double down on that, or think about like maybe how you can get better at that, or like differentiate it, expand upon it. Like, that's the other thing, is I do the same sets of tricks over and over again now, and it's like so boring a lot of the time, and like that's why I find myself not yo-yoing very often, is just because I'm doing the same thing over and over again. But like every 5 or 6 months I'll learn like 2 or 3 new little additions to throw in there, and like that kind of reinvigorates for me for another like month, 6 weeks, and then I'm like, all right, I'm over this again. But yeah, it's there's a lot of different things that go into it, but you just gotta keep the faith. And
the caller was saying too, he taught himself most everything that he's able to do with his physical disability. So like, I don't know, shoot me a DM if you ever want to talk yo-yos. And like, I've been making these tutorials, and people have been DMing me like needing extra tips, and like I'll film I like doing that kind of thing. So if you ever want to, like, I don't know, trade tricks or something, can always do that, or come to a contest and hang out.
Yeah, so many yo-yoers. Yeah, God, I forget what I was gonna say. I think they just kind of just expanding upon what you were saying earlier, where they're like very content with being online, but like most yo-yoers like want to talk to other yo-yo players, or like they're approachable people. Like they want to talk to you. Like it's not like anyone's just like a douchebag, especially if it's like one of those online type of relationships where you're just like sending each other memes, or like there's some yo-yoers that like I am almost better friends with online than I am in person, you know what I mean? And like we'll talk like almost every day on Instagram, send each other funny memes or whatever, and then we see each other at contests, like, oh hey, what's up? And it's like we'll still hang and chat and shoot the shit, but it's not like we're getting together on a consistent basis, or like you know, they are at the contest and there's probably people they don't talk to every day online, so it's like those are the people they're spending more time with, or they're trying to soak up the atmosphere. And then it's like always very funny, because as we're saying goodbye, I'm like, all right, well, I'll talk to you later on Instagram. Like, I'll send you a meme about Shaq or some shit. Like, yeah, it's, you gotta just find your place and like figure out what you like about yo-yoing, you know, try to do it more, try to find a community within it. I don't know if you live near a place that has a yo-yo club, but like that, so many people go to yo-yo club and like barely yo-yo, or aren't even like that great of a yo-yoer, and they just want to hang out, and maybe they learn one trick, or they don't even learn tricks sometimes, they're just standing there hanging out and yo-yoing, and that's part of what's very enjoyable to them though, you know what I mean? And it keeps them coming back. It's community. It's the amount of like old guys that come to yo-yo clubs and just have a case of 100 yo-yos, and just like, you know, it's probably like them hanging out with like their grandkids or some shit, and it's just cool and fun for them. And they
even Dookie, I feel like I've seen him yo-yo like 4 times, like
ever.
Literally, like, I don't know, he just comes to the contest and hangs out.
Right. Yeah, no, it's very similar to like a Grateful Dead show or something, where like some people, it's like it's a scene, it's a community, it's a culture. It's like you come to a couple contests and you have fun, you get involved, and it's so good, but it's also so bad sometimes, because like fucking people's girlfriends will like continue to come to the contest afterwards or whatever, you know what I mean? Where it's like they don't yo-yo, but it's like, oh, this is cool, I enjoy hanging out, like I want to be around all these fun people and like have fun, and you guys are just the life of the party, so like it's cool to come hang out. And it's like, that's not the most beneficial thing if you're like a yo-yoer and that's like, you know, a big part of your life, and then your ex-girlfriend's like across the room or whatever. But it's like I said, it's a scene, it's a cool hangout, it's a vibe. So like, yeah, if you have a community around you somehow, or even if you're within a couple hours driving or a bus ride to a contest and you can afford to go, I would definitely suggest going, because that, like, when we were kids, that would just keep us reinvigorated for like, you'd go to one contest and just get the biggest dopamine serotonin fill and be like, all right, I'm gonna ride this out for the next 3-4 months until the next contest. Like that would be the worst when we were kids, was like going to nationals in like October, and then like November, December, January,
Yeah.
and then like maybe Virginia.
It wasn't until like
States.
March was like Maryland states. I
Yeah.
remember it was near my birthday. But yeah.
You got anything to add, Kurti?
No, I agree. I remember being very distraught between yo-yo contests.
Distraught. Oh my
and
god.
being like, you're like, oh, season's back.
I
Like,
can't eat. I can't sleep. What's going on right now?
Not that distraught, but
Waking up, there's new hair on my chest. What's
Whoa.
going on?
so I'm gonna be built for this contest season.
Oh my gosh.
This is awesome. Best set of questions yet, guys. Thank
Yeah,
you.
whole question episode.
Text, call. The number will be in the description. You know what to do. I think we're going to cut this one off here. It was a long ass episode.
Yeah.
But great discussion from all you guys. Thanks
Nationals
for-
is next week, so
Yeah.
we'll release this episode on Sunday, which will be like 6 or 7 days away from nationals. So.
Boy. Oh, boy. I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So yeah, do what it do. Try to come out to nationals if you can.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. But all right, guys. Peace.
See you soon.